Greetings friends, today we're doing something very different. It's no secret, Blood Angels have not won very many events yet here in 10th edition. So today we're going to look at a tournament winning list by the Ultramarines using Gladius, see if we can decide why it's good and see if there's anything we can learn from it. So we're going to get right into it. This is going to be a very different video. I don't really know what to expect, so stick around, let's find out. So this is a 54-player GT, the Fields of Damnation, and obviously you can check it out in BCP if you want to. But here, we've got a list. We've got a Apothecary Biologist with Bolter Discipline. So he's likely going to be attached to, and I've made an assumption here, a big block of aggressors. It would be 6 Boltstorm aggressors, giving them basically in Devastator Doctrine, they will burst and auto wounds on 5s and 6s. So I did some very basic maths on here, and I'm going to do a bigger video breaking it down. But realistically, you're probably going to make them take like 20 plus saves at -1, and if you Storm of Fire, potentially -2. We've got Marius Kalgar, and he comes with 2 Victrix Guard, and he's likely going to be attached to a squad of Blade Guard. It will be 6 Blade Guard plus the 2 Victrix Guard plus Marius Kalgar. I don't know too much about Marius Kalgar, so I think I have his data sheet here. He's basically has a 4 attack, pistol, twin linked, -1, 2 damage bolter. He has the Gauntlets of Ultramar, which is basically a 3 damage power fist that is also twin linked but with -3. While this model is a unit, you can declare a charge in a turn which you advanced or fell black. Start a command phase if Marius Kalgar is in the battlefield, you gain 1 CP. While this unit contains 1 or more Victrix Honor Guard, Marius Kalgar's model has a 4-up Feel No Pain. So I guess if the enemy tried to snipe Marius Kalgar, he has a 4-up Feel No Pain. He's a 2-up save, he's toughness 6, he's 6 wounds. So he's not bad at all. I mean, he's a bit like a Gravis Captain, essentially, I think. With maybe like a slightly better Power Fist, and obviously Advance and Charge, slightly better Bolter, 1 CP bonus every turn. So he's a cool model to have. So we have Marius Kalgar in there with the Blade Guard for Advance and Charge, also Fallback and Charge. We have Primaris Chaplain with Artificer Armor. And then we have Uriel Ventress. Ventress obviously lets you attach him to a unit and then give that unit deep strike. So I think the biologists plus the aggressors are going to be attached to Ventress, and then they're going to be basically able to be deep striked into the battlefield. So Battleline, he actually has 3 units: Assault Intercessors with a Power Fist, Heavy Intercessors with a Heavy Bolter, and the Intercessor Squad with a Thunder Hammer and a Grenade Launcher. Interesting to see so many Battleline units actually, because I don't run barely any of these. I like Heavy Intercessors. I think sticking them on objective is pretty tanky. I'm going to try those out. Assault Intercessors, I can live without or live with them. I'm not really sure their role. They just have chain swords, so I guess they just kill trash units and they provide some OC. Intercessors, however, I guess have sticky objectives, and they can do some shenanigans with their sticky objectives. So we already talked about the 6-man squad of aggressors and the 6-man Blade Guard. Obviously, the aggressors all have Power Fists, so if they do make it into combat, they can be pretty powerful. And there is that stratagem for Gladius, which lets you get +1 to wound. Let me get this right. It's Honor the Chapter, and it's +1 to wound when you're in the melee combat phase. And if you use, sorry, it's not +1 to wound. You get the Lance ability, which means if you made a charge, you get +1 to wound. And if you're in the Assault Doctrine, when you do that, you also get to improve your AP by 1 as well. So potentially you could make all those Power Fists from the Aggressor Squad go to -3 and get +1 to wound. So there's, I mean, that's not bad. You could also do that with the Blade Guard. I've been finding the Blade Guard swords are really underwhelming now, just being strength 5. So potentially, giving them +1 to wound and also an additional point of AP would actually be really powerful. You have an Eliminator squad with the Instigator Bolt Carbine and 2 Las Fusils. I wasn't sure about this squad, honestly, because it's just 2 shots from the Las Fusil, and the Las Fusil used to be very good with flat 3 damage, and now it's a little bit all over the place. But maybe the Eliminators could be there to be basically action monkeys. We have a squad of Inceptors with the Plasmas. We know that they can deep strike 3 inches away. They can kill a bit of enemy infantry. I did a video on the Inceptors a few weeks back, and honestly, when I did the math, I felt like the bolters were better these days because of the sustained hits too. But here you go, plasma interceptors. What do I know? Apparently nothing. We also have incursors with the haywire mine, so that once the cursors shoot a unit, every other unit that you get that shoots the same unit gets +1 to hit. You've got a land raider with the multi-melta, the hunter killer, the stormbolter, and that is the land raider with the las cannons. And on top, it will have the twin assault cannon. We also have a Redemptor Dreadnought with a heavy onslaught cannon. I mean, it makes sense to take the heavy onslaught cannon because I don't think the plasma cannon is very good at the moment. The onslaught cannon, the rocket pods, and the storm bolter. So let me get to the, like, I don't really know. So like the Redemptor, I guess, is good at killing infantry. I'm not sure this list needs infantry killing. What with those Bolt Storm gauntlets, with a Blade Guard, they munch their way through infantry. Assault Marines go through infantry. Heavy Intercessors go through infantry. Intercessors even kill infantry. So it's strange to pick a Redemptor at this point that will kill infantry. We got a Gladius Assassin. We've got those 40-point Inquisitorial Henchmen, which are basically like your Voidsman at Arms. Very good for reserve. Very good for performing actions. My assumptions are that the chaplains with the intercessors in the Land Raider, something needs to be in the Land Raider. It could also be the assault intercessors, maybe with the chaplain to give them +1 to wound. That would make them seem more exciting to me. Kalgar with the Blade Guard veterans for advance and charge. I'm trying to think what the foot slogging chaplain does, because the chaplains, Primaris chaplains, typically do two things: +1 to wound, and then you could remove battle shot from a unit within 12 inches. I'm not sure there's much. I'm not sure that's that strong, but regardless. And then the bolter discipline aggressors, deep striking. So this list is very infantry heavy, way more infantry heavy than what I've been playing. Really just the Land Raider and Redemptor, if you add those two things together, that's about 450 points. So this is 1,500 points of infantry. So this is miles away from what I've been playing. And I honestly didn't think 1,500 points of infantry was viable. I'm trying to think if there's anything here that like stands out that Blood Angels couldn't do, right? Because like Ventress, to deep strike the aggressors, well, we can do that with a Librarian Dreadnought. I mean, we're actually probably better in that we can teleport an infantry unit every turn on a 2-up with the Librarian Dreadnought. And then Kargar, I mean, Kargar's nice with the Victrix Guard. We didn't actually touch on the Victrix Guard because obviously Kargar, he's 185 points and he comes with 2 Victrix Guard, Victrix on air guard, sorry, which are 2-up, 3 wounds on the Victrix Guard. I don't know why the Victrix Guard get 3 wounds and the Sanguinary Guard don't get 3 wounds, but whatever. And the Victrix Guard are armed with a Victrix Power Sword. Is that on here? Yes. Strength 5 minus, so it's basically a Blade Guard veteran sword. And the Victrix Guard, I guess, also have the 4-up invulnerable save, I guess, because this unit, this is a bit of a confusing profile of them both on one. I haven't really seen that before. But okay, so it's basically like you... Victrix Guard, for all intents and purposes, is basically a Blade Guard veteran then, without... They don't have the pistol, but they have 1 better on their armor save. Everything else about them is the same as a Blade Guard. So it's essentially going to be Kalgar plus 8 Blade Guard. I mean, that's a lot of 3-wound models to chew through. But yeah, it almost feels like there's nothing here that Blood Angels can't do, apart from Kalgar. And I mean, if there's a unit that you want to attach to a Blade Guard, there is ways to make the Blade Guards good. You know, you can attach a Judicaire to them. I'm trying to think what else you can attach to a Blade Guard that's exciting. You know, I'm drawing a blank actually, but I remember a few weeks ago we talked about you could join a Primaris Captain and a Blade Guard Ancient to them, which would be slightly cheaper than Kalgar and his 2 guys. The Primaris Captain can get like 3 additional attacks once per game, and he can get dev wounds, and the Ancient can once per game give all your Blade Guard 1 extra attack. So arguably, there's very little on this list that Blood Angels can't do in or around in some shape or form, and this won a 54-player GT. I don't know what it played against. Maybe someone in BCP can find out and put it in the comments. But I just wanted to just jump in and look at the list and see if there's anything, because I'm about to build my next Blood Angels list. And everyone's making fun of me for using Parking Garage in my last list, which was like 9 vehicles. I'm going to drop some of my vehicles. I was thinking more of a 50-50 split. So maybe like 5 vehicles, and so 1,000 points of vehicles, 1,000 points of infantry. Because my current list is about 1,500 points of vehicles and 500 infantry. This is a complete swing the other way. So I thought it would be just worth looking at and seeing is there anything that we can't do? Because a lot of Blood Angels players have suddenly started playing Gladius. I don't know if it's sudden, but over time, more and more people, I guess, have been playing Gladius because the Blood Angels +1 to strength is very, very underwhelming. And in fact, we just did a video earlier this week on the Firestorm detachment, the new detachment that's going to give +1 strength to all ranged weapons within 12 inches. And on paper, that sounds a lot better than the +1 strength that Blood Angels get in melee, because +1 strength on ranged weaponry actually hit a lot of breakpoints. You know, like Melta-guns go from strength 9 to strength 10, well, strength 10 Melta means you're wounding a lot of vehicles on 4. So Eradicators suddenly become viable again. Whereas I think at strength 9, I don't really see Eradicators as a viable unit, right? So this is quite interesting. It's quite an interesting list. Hopefully you've learned something from this video. I think the thing that I have learned is maybe I'm a little bit wrong in my assumption that you must go so armor heavy, and that's, I think I kind of thought I was wrong anyway, because I was thinking 5 units of armor, which is about, if you imagine most units of armor are around like something between 100 and 200 points, sorry, 150 and 200 points, then 5 units of armor is about 800 to 1000 points of armor. So that's what I'm aiming for in my next list. I'll maybe make a video on my next list, but this list is 1500 plus points. It's actually 1550, because the Land Raider and the Redemptor together are 450. So this is 1550 points of infantry. Calidus Assassin, which we don't see all that much actually, can mess with CP. Inquisitor Henchman. So a couple of kind of meta picks, but some very unorthodox picks. I haven't seen very little of these at all at the moment. Like, a lot of people are not running. Heavy Intercessors is a squad that I've been painting on my stream that I've been thinking about running, but I think the Biologist with the Aggressors definitely seems like a very interesting choice. Blade Guard also seemed pretty interesting, maybe more interesting than Terminators. And I suppose the last thing I want to say is, what is this in characters? It's about 350 points in characters. Maybe, I guess if you exclude the 2 Victrix Guard, it's about 350, but they're kind of part of Marius Kalgar unit. So overall, it's about 400 points of characters. So 400 points of characters, 1100 points of infantry, 450 points of vehicles in that. I hope this has been useful. I've never covered an Ultramarines list before, so I didn't really know where this video would go. I hope it's been useful. I hope it's been interesting. If it's not, leave me a comment or dislike the video. That's fine. If it has been useful, just to see what other armies are able to win tournaments with, then let me know. Thanks ever so much for watching. As always, please consider subscribing, and I'll link one of my other videos up here now if you've not seen it. Let's go watch the Firestorm detachment video. It's a pretty cool video. Released it earlier this week. Thanks so much for being here, guys. Peace.